You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
This is the co-host, Danny.
And we have a fun-filled show for you today where we'll actually talk about the NBA season and give you our predictions in each of the conferences. And then we'll have a trade scenario, which is our premiere segment, which will be a very, very interesting discussion. So, Danny, let's go ahead and start with the Eastern Conference. And so last year, we actually had a very interesting end to the season. Unfortunately, our Milwaukee Bucks did not make it into the NBA Finals. We were right there against the Toronto Raptors. But for this year, let me ask you this. Out of the teams that did not make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, which team or teams do you feel will actually make the playoffs this year? So the teams that did not make it last year are the Charlotte Hornets, Miami Heat, Washington Wizards, Atlanta Hawks, Chicago Bulls, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the New York Knicks.
So out of those teams, Atlanta, I feel will definitely make the playoffs this year. The team I'm struggling with right now is Miami. Watching Miami, the addition of Jimmy Butler and the rookie straight from Wisconsin, Tyler Hero, man, they've been balling in this preseason. I know it's preseason, so we're going to preface this whole thing by this is what we're looking at right now at this point in time. And the season kicks off next week, Tuesday. The Miami Heat look tough, and I just don't know if it's just because they're playing or what, but like I was watching last night when Hero and MCW got into it. They got a little edge to them. But for sure, Atlanta, Miami's my possible. How about you, Jason?
I think that the Atlanta Hawks, that is a team to really watch out for. That's going to be a dangerous team. They now have another year under their belt, a little bit more experience. I believe that is going to be the team to really watch out for. I'm not worried about the Hornets. Jordan, the staff there, I don't know what they're doing in Charlotte. I just don't get it. I don't know if Mitch Kupchak, the GM there, is just waiting for some of these contracts to end because they're not getting any trade offers or they can't make any trades, whatever the case may be. I have no idea what the Charlotte Hornets are doing.
But they keep giving out bad contracts. They gave Terry Rozier almost $60 million.
I don't know what was up with that. I guess they was trying to find a replacement for Kemba.
Yeah.
But I just don't get what the Charlotte Hornets are doing. And quite honestly, I don't see the Charlotte Hornets making the playoffs in the next 2, 3, 4 years. But I will say, I think the Hawks, they're going to be, vying for that 8-7 seed. I'm not worried about the Knicks. Very young. I had a conversation with one of my boys, and he mentioned R.J. Barrett looks like an Allen Houston. And he messed me up when he said that because, and this was during a game that I was watching with the Knicks, and when he said that, I looked at his game. I was like, dang, he does seem like an Allen Houston. We'll see what happens with R.J. Barrett, but Knicks is definitely not. I'm not worried about. But I will say, watch out for the Atlanta Hawks. And so let me ask you this: since you feel that the Hawks and Miami Heat will be vying for a playoff position, which teams do you feel will be bounced out of the playoffs that made it last year? So just to recap from last year, the teams that made it going from 1 to 8 seeds, the Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers, Brooklyn Nets, Orlando Magic, and the Detroit Pistons.
I think looking at this, man, I'm not sure how Kyrie's going to gel with Brooklyn. They're good. It's between Brooklyn and Detroit from my standpoint. I know we had our previous show. I was all over the Detroit Pistons because they do have a lot of talent.
Including your boy Thon Maker.
Stay ready, as they call him. But Detroit, I think it's between Detroit and Brooklyn, honestly. Detroit's so up and down. I'm not sure about them. And with Brooklyn, with Kyrie, I don't know about them. So it's between Detroit and Brooklyn. I can see them falling out.
I got to disagree with you on that one. Listen, I think Brooklyn's going to make it. The way that they played last year, every single game, they played hard every single game. They were in it. Defensively, they are a monster. They're a beast defensively. And just that effort alone, I think, is going to put them over the top in terms of being in the playoffs. So I believe Brooklyn Nets will be there. I believe Detroit is going to be teetering again on that 8th seed, which would be fine because I have a feeling that our Milwaukee Bucks is going to be there in the 1 or 2 slot. And, that'll be just fresh meat for us against the Detroit Pistons. Yep. But I would say this. I think the Toronto Raptors are going to slide. Last year, they were the number 2 seed. I think they're going to slide quite a bit.
Out of the playoffs? Out of the top 8?
Not out of the playoffs, but they will be very close. I think they may be like a 7 seed.
Okay, I'm
6, 7 seed.
So who is Atlanta's passing here on this list?
I would say, you know what? I think Atlanta may teeter around that 8 seed.
So is it Detroit or Orlando?
It may be Detroit. It may be Detroit. Orlando I like because they're young. They got another year of experience under their belt. I think Orlando's going to be in there, but I really believe Detroit's going to be struggling, man. And I honestly, listen, Toronto may slip. They're going to be at the very end there, and watch out for the Boston Celtics. Watch out for the Boston Celtics. Now, they'll make the playoffs, but I, too, believe that they're going to be in that 6-7, that 5-6-7.
We're going to have to rank these, too, then, because kind of see how this all shakes out once we get through what we need to get through.
All right, let's rank them. Let's rank them. Starting with number 1 and going down to 8.
I'm going Milwaukee, number 1.
Okay, I agree there.
Philly, number 2.
I agree there.
Indiana, number 3.
Man. I'm struggling with Indiana on account that, yes, Indiana got Malcolm Brogdon. My concern with Brogdon is can he stay healthy?
I agree with that. And with Oladipo coming back and how they're all going to mesh together. But with Nate McMillan there, man, I think they'll be fine. I think it's going to take some time. With all these teams that picked up all these new free agents.
You're saying Pacers at the number 3 spot.
Yep.
All right, who would you have at number 4?
Number 4 would be Boston.
See, I think I would have to go. I could see the Pacers possibly being the number 3. Number 4, I would have to. You said Boston at number 4?
Yes.
I may have to go Brooklyn. I may go Brooklyn at number 4, man. Listen, I'm just impressed with how Brooklyn, when they had like nobody last year, how they battled.
Yeah, look who they bringing in. The chemistry killer, Kyrie. They had the same team in Boston, man. So earlier I said about Detroit and Brooklyn being one of the teams to fall out. I was just saying that because I saw what he self-destructed last year and pulled all those dudes down with. I'm going to put Brooklyn in just because all the talent they do have, but I don't trust Kyrie. And maybe he learned his lesson. And maybe you're right. Maybe they'll be the 4. So I'm going to have to watch for a little bit. And we're going to have to do this like mid-season.
Okay.
And revamp these rankings.
Well, for that matter, then, you know what? I would almost go ahead and put the Toronto Raptors at either the 4 or 5 seed.
They're going to be my 5.
They're going to be your 5?
Toronto would be my 5.
I may put them at the 4 and then put Boston at 5.
And then number 6.
6. Who would you have at 6?
I guess I can put Brooklyn at 6. I'll concede that.
And I would probably flip it. Then you said Brooklyn at 6.
Yep.
I think I had them at 4 or 5. So basically, it's going to be in that 4, 5, 6 spot. Then it seems like it's going to be either for both of us, either Toronto, Boston, Indiana, or even Brooklyn Net, and we got those swapped around. Let's just put it like that. We agree there.
Yes, I agree with you there.
Okay, and then we have 7 and 8 seeds.
Atlanta, Orlando, with Miami at number 9.
You know, I think I kind of agree with you on that one. But I think I may put the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, even. So I would say my 7, 8 would be the likes of Orlando and Atlanta, with Chicago and Miami battling out at the 9, teetering around the 8 seed or fighting for the 8 seed.
When you look at that bottom, that can all switch around. But yeah, right now, I like Orlando and Atlanta to get in at the 7 and 8 spots. And then Miami and Chicago, I agree with you on that. To be battling for that 9, 10.
All right, so let's go on to the Western Conference.
All right, man.
And where the Western Conference, we had last year the teams that did not make it: Sacramento Kings, Los Angeles Lakers, Minnesota Timberwolves, Memphis Grizzlies, New Orleans Pelicans, Dallas Mavericks, and the Phoenix Suns. So out of those teams that did not make it last year, who do you feel will actually make it into the playoffs?
Looking at this list, Los Angeles Lakers will be in as being like a 1, 2, or 3, which we'll get to. But I see the Lakers getting in. Man, there's not a lot of space here for these teams. The other team I think will make it is Dallas. Now, this summer, I was big on the Kings, and I still am. I'm not sure what this whole Buddy Hield contract dispute that's going on, how that's going to impact them and their chemistry. So right now, I would say the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks will be in the top 8. The Grizzlies, no. The other team, Phoenix, is actually going to be pretty good. I just don't know how, with the front office and everything, that's what impacts them. They have the talent. They just don't have the management. And the T-Wolves, too, they'll be decent, but they're not going to be in top 8. How about you, Jason?
Well, I'll say this. And one thing we should have prefaced here, all of our predictions are, barring major injuries to a major or player on a team. So just need to make mention of that. But I will say this. Lakers are going to make the playoffs.
Can I jump in real quick? Can I jump in?
Yep,
I forgot one team. I forgot the Pelicans.
I was just about to say the Pelicans. I was just about to say the Pelicans. I was going to say the Pelicans. Listen, let me ask you this, Danny.
Yep,
so over under the number of games that Zion plays. Zion is just announced today that Zion will be missing a few weeks due to a knee injury. Not a severe injury now, but he will be missing a few weeks. We don't know if it's just a couple of weeks. If we don't know if it's 3 weeks, we don't know if it's 4 weeks. We just don't know. Based upon what has been rumored, Nike actually wanted Zion to lose some weight. Thus, the reason why the few weeks. So the knee injury happens. Nike wants Zion to lose a couple pounds. So let me ask you this, Danny, over or under the number of games that Zion plays this year? 62 and a half games, over or under?
Under. The injury he had last year at Duke is going to linger this year with the depth they have in New Orleans. They don't want to risk the future. And with load management, with all the stars, which I consider him a star, because he's going to draw wherever he goes. They're going to try to watch his minutes and games played to make sure that knee is healed up appropriately. And then there's just too much on the line for him to go out there and play a ton of games and put all that wear and tear on his knee if it's not right. What about you, Jason?
I agree there. Listen, he's going to be under. I don't think I agree with you. The depth is there for New Orleans. I think the depth is there so much that they will actually battle for the A seed. I think they're going to battle for the A seed along with Dallas, along with ones that made it. I'm trying to figure out who's going to drop out. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to drop out.
Yeah, they're long gone. They ain't making it.
Now, I will say they may battle. They may battle for the A seed as well. But that's really dependent upon, honestly, whether or not they're going to keep Chris Paul midseason. I believe that Chris Paul, the Oklahoma City Thunder, will agree on a buyout, and Chris Paul will be moved. So I still think Oklahoma City is going to battle in that A spot, but I think the organization is going to realize, you know what, we're battling so hard, we're not going to even advance through, out of the first round. So let's go ahead and get some draft picks and let's just go ahead and rebuild. And I think they're going to do that in the middle of the season.
So any of these other teams you thinking before we go 1 through 8 that may have a chance?
Listen, man, I am not Sacramento. Oh man, that's going to be a battle too. They're going to be battling. I believe Sacramento, the New Orleans Pelicans. I almost want to say the San Antonio Spurs too, man. I think they're all going to be battling for that A seed. And keep in mind, last year between the 5th and the A seeds, it was only separated by 2 games. I think we're going to experience that through the 5th through the 9th, 10th seed. That's only going to be separated by 2 or 3 games. This season is going to come down to the very last game of the regular season.
I think it goes even higher. I think it's going to be 3 through 8. It's going to be battling.
Whoa. Okay, so let's break it down then. So who you got 1 through 8? Let's go with it.
My number 1, Houston Rockets.
Man, get the hell out of here, man. Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Are you serious, man?
Dead serious.
Man, I cannot believe you done said that. Okay.
But right now, Houston's my number 1. Who's your number 1?
Man, it's not Houston. You talking about James Harden, Russell Westbrook on the same team.
Yep.
Man, listen, there's not enough balls to go around. My number 1 seed, and this is going to be a battle too, between Denver and Utah.
So who is it? Who you going with? You going to put your money on Utah?
I'm going Denver.
Damn, well, you're going to put your money on Utah. That's number 1. Yeah, okay, you got Denver.
I'm thinking Denver. And then number 2, I can say Utah.
Number 2, I'm putting as Denver. Number 3, Los Angeles Clippers.
I don't know if I can do that with the Clippers, man. Listen, Paul George is going to be out for a little bit.
Understood.
And the West is no joke. There will be no days off, no games off in the Western Conference. I can't put the Clippers at 3. I would say at 3 I can see Houston, maybe. I may reshuffle that. I may rethink that one. All right.
So you going Houston 3?
Yeah, I'll go Houston 3.
All right. I'm going to go Utah 4. I can see them as the 4 seed.
I can see maybe the Clippers.
Okay, so Clippers are 4. Number 5, the Trailblazers. And honestly, I can see Portland being 1. I like Portland, but I'm not crazy now.
I'm about to reshuffle already. So I'm dropping down Houston. I'm putting Portland in that spot.
Okay.
At number 3. So I'm putting Portland at number 3. I'm gonna put Houston at number 4.
Your 5 is
this. Western Conference is tough.
Yeah,
the Western Conference is tough. I think I would go with the Clippers. And let me make sure. So number 1, I had Denver.
Yep.
2, I had Utah.
Yep.
3, I put Portland. 4, I put Houston. 5, I'm putting Clippers.
Yep.
6, I'm putting Lakers.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that.
Well, listen, I think with the Lakers, what I've seen so far, I've seen a whole lot of pick and roll action between AD and LeBron.
Yep.
And I believe that is going to be something to really watch out for. The passing has been exceptional, especially when you have another big man as JaVale McGee in there. He is an athletic big.
Yes.
And dog. So I can see the Lakers really gelling now. We haven't seen Kuzma in the mix. I believe the Lakers are going to do well, but not well enough to, really move up in that it's going to take a while for them to gel. And when you have veteran teams together like a Denver and Utah, I think, that's going to be really hard to deal with. So there you have it.
Number 7, I'm going Golden State.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that one.
Without knowing when Klay Thompson's coming back, if they can just hold it down until he gets back, and maybe he comes back in like a March-ish time frame, then maybe that changes. But right now I'm going with them at 7. And so you going with them at 7 too?
Yep, I'm going with them at 7.
Number 8, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the teams that did not make it. And this is between, for me, San Antonio, New Orleans, and Dallas. So I am going to go with the Dallas Mavericks as my number 8 seed at this point in time.
Man, you're high on Dallas. Listen, I'm going to San Antonio. When was the last time San Antonio did not make the playoffs?
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. But KP Porzingis is looking good in preseason.
So
repeat that. I said KP is looking really good in preseason.
Preseason, yes. Exactly.
But he's coming back from that major knee injury. If he can stay healthy, they have a good enough team.
I'm going San Antonio on that. So we got our picks, and then, like you said, I think there's going to be a lot of battling, really between 5 through 9, maybe even 10. You're saying even extend that out to 3, the 3 seed to 10. So we'll see what happens, man. This is going to be an exciting NBA season. Very exciting NBA season.
Yes, and like I said, we left off the Kings, the Timberwolves, they're not going to be sorry, but it's just that they have the bad luck of being in the West. And Phoenix, if they can put anything together, because they have the talent, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this is going to be a great season. So on to the next segment, and where the trading card scenario for today is Zion Williamson's rookie card for Charles Barkley, his rookie card. So go ahead and start, Danny. This is going to be an interesting conversation, I believe. So would you take that trade? What are your thoughts on it?
I am on the side of Charles Barkley. His rookie card, even when we were growing up, man, had a lot of value, and it still holds value. Part of this scenario choice was a lot of comparisons have been between Zion and Charles Barkley. Needless to say, for this scenario, if someone said, I'll trade you my Zion Williamson rookie card for my Charles Barkley rookie card, I'll tell you, step off. I'm good with Charles Barkley, man. Charles was one of the people I followed growing up too, and at that point in time, when that rookie card came out, it was very coveted. Love to have Charles Barkley's rookie card over Zion's rookie card. How about you, Jason?
Now, are you just more so referring to on the court or just overall?
Both. Charles Barkley, in my opinion, is a better player. I know he came in, he was a little out of shape, but
well, hell, they both out of shape, boy. We talking about Zion Williamson off for about 3-4 weeks just to lose weight, allegedly. And where Charles Barkley, he actually played his way into shape. Well, let me rephrase. Moses Malone and them told him, man, you a fat ass. That's exactly what Charles Barkley would say. You a fat ass, so you need to go ahead and lose this weight, man. But he ended up losing it.
Yeah, and so that's my opinion. If this was offered to me, I'm taking the Charles Barkley side of this trade. Knowing both cards have value, from my standpoint, Charles was a better player coming in. He holds value over time. He was just one of those unique players, and I appreciate him because he was only 6'4", and he battled. He'd dunk on you in a heartbeat.
He would take it from,
and he could shoot, and he had the all-around games. And from this standpoint, the way everything's shaking out, I would take Charles Barkley over Zion.
Keep in mind, as a rookie coming in, we don't know how Charles Barkley is going to be. We didn't know Charles Barkley was going to be league's MVP. Went to the finals against a Michael Jordan-led Bulls team. We didn't know Charles Barkley was going to be the leading scorer of the Dream Team back in '92 in Barcelona. We didn't know the many all-star teams that he was a part of. And I believe he was an all-star MVP at one point in time as well. So we didn't know all that was going to happen in Charles's career. And then obviously post-career, he's become a mouthpiece, if you will, for TNT. One of the best TV shows during the NBA season. So we don't know all that about Charles Barkley in this trade. The only thing we know about Charles Barkley in this trade is that he was at Auburn. He was a part of he tried out for the U.S. Olympic team when Bobby Knight was the coach. Bobby Knight cut him, and that controversy has been going back and forth for a number of years. So we just know the round mound, a rebound, grabbing the rebound and taking it the length of the court and dunking on you. That's all we know about Charles Barkley at this particular moment in time. We only know about Zion in terms of what he has done at Duke. In terms of, we know him about in high school, the social media following. Let me ask you this. Do you feel that if there was social media back in Charles Barkley day in college, do you feel that he would have similar numbers in terms of followers than Zion?
No. Just due to the fact that he played at Auburn, even though Auburn is a known basketball school, it's not Duke. And all the hype around Zion coming from high school, Charles Barkley did not have. To that point, if we level set it there of, all right, they're both coming out at the same time, I was still, because Charles Barkley still had a game coming out, and he was known, he was a high draft pick for the Philadelphia 76ers. He wasn't number one like Zion was. Knowing that injury Zion had in Duke, putting those together in parallel.
Hey, and that's why you got me, man. That's why you got me, because I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I actually agreed with you in terms of taking Charles Barkley. I actually agree with you, but I wanted to kind of play the other side here in that Charles Barkley, he was the fifth pick in the '84 draft. The thing is, the reason why I indicated that in terms of all his accolades, Charles Barkley's accolades in his career, is because the rookie card, it's like you can only at that point in time go by really what he's done in high school, the hype, or college. Charles Barkley was in school for, I want to say 3 years, and then Zion only 1 year. But he had that following. And to your point, that's why I asked you the question about the social media aspect, because social media is a currency. Your followers is a currency. So when you talk about the value of one's card, Zion's value would skyrocket over Charles Barkley's value, just off of your answer in terms of the social media following.
I think too with this, if we're doing the trade right now, I guess that's where the value of Charles Barkley's rookie card right now, based on everything he's done in his career, versus you getting a Zion rookie card right now, would you take and trade that physical card for Charles Barkley's rookie card in 2019 versus, this is the other side, which you're spinning on, Charles Barkley 1984, Zion Williamson 2019?
I would say this. With that, we're talking about Zion's potential of having a career equating to that of what Charles Barkley's career is, or career was in the NBA and his post-NBA career. I would say this. I would stick with Charles Barkley. The reason being is because we're already seeing fractures of Zion's ability here. I'm concerned with this, weeks of Zion having off, allegedly losing weight, and you're changing the composition of his body. The rigors of the NBA, They want him to lose weight, allegedly. But how is that going to change his game? Charles Barkley was in the league for a long time. I just don't know if Zion is going to be in the league that long. Yeah, so if we're talking about potential of Zion and in comparison to Charles Barkley's career, I'm the known. So you're talking about the known versus the unknown. Really, I'm going to go with the known in Charles Barkley. But if we're looking at it from the standpoint of we don't know either one careers, the rookie season, I'm going with Zion purely because of the following, the currency that he has, the value that he has from a social media aspect, and the hype that he has even coming into the NBA. And he only played 1 year in college.
I would agree with you on that. So if you said exactly how you said it, based on potential, and they're both on an even playing field, definitely Zion. All the hype that's surrounding him. Barkley didn't have that. Barkley was popular, but he wasn't. Zion was light years ahead of him from a popularity standpoint, especially with basketball and exposure and everything. So I think we're agreeing on this from both sides of it.
Man, this is a shock. This is rarity. this is a rarity. So we'll take it, though. We'll take it. All right. I think that is our show